let's start with the current. As far as I know, the most recent thing you have available that's out is the A to Z record. Is that correct?
Technically, that came out August of a year ago, or a year and a couple months ago, or whatever it's been. That is the latest thing that's out. What's coming out is May 5th is the Warlord record that's coming out on High Roller. And then right as we're speaking right now, A through Z album 2 is basically, well, waiting for Ray for one more song. But he says he'll have it this week. Everybody else has recorded all their album parts. It's all ready to go. The same guy, Simone's going to mix it. And it should be, it should be done soon, but we know how that is. And the label's going to take X amount of time, and the vinyl's going to take 9 months, and you know how it goes. But those are the two things that will be coming out. But the last thing that is physically out is the A through Z record.
A through Z, not A to Z. Okay, A through Z. So
you can call it anything you want. Everybody's called it anything. Just it doesn't. We're kind of open. We're open for interpretation.
Well, I've been listening to the album that's currently available, and I love what you're doing there. I was going to ask you, what was your aim musically with A through Z as opposed to maybe other things you've been involved in?
Well, there was another band that I had back in 2007 called Slavier with Greg Anaya and Wayne Finley. It's the same principle as what this was. And what it is I have a million drum ideas. Instead of me sitting around waiting for a guitar player, to choke out a riff or whatever, something I might not even like, I kind of went the other way, and I have all these different ideas that I record, and I gave it, actually Wayne was doing it back then, but it was Viv this time around on that record, and let guys write the stuff, that might be a little crazy or a little too active to try to shove into one of their parts. And it takes a special kind of person to take, a lot of musicians, especially guitar players, they can play and they can write and stuff like that. But when you give them something, kind of sets the mode, sets the mood, sets the whole vibe for them. A lot of guys love it. And I played with a lot of guys trying to do this. Some guys just don't get it because they got stuck in their own mind. Okay, I got this riff and I got to get it out. So my whole thing was just writing songs around the drums because I wanted to get a lot of these patterns and stuff that I know I wouldn't be able to get into other songs. And the real truth of the matter on A through Z, like I say, it's beer commercials, car commercials, and Cobra Kai.
I love how you cut to the chase on that. When I started reading the literary on it, and right out of the bag, you're describing what you have this sort of like video in your head, this cartoon drawing, this sketch of what you want it to sound and almost look like visually.
Absolutely. And what's funny is we've never met per se. I'm sure you've heard plenty of rumors. I'm about as straight up as it gets, and I can take it straight up. I'm not into disappearing for 3 months. I'm not into, hey man, that's great, man, I love it, I'll get right on it, and then disappear for 3 months. I'm just straight up. So when it comes to music, it's like, this is what I want to do. Not a big fan of like overly playing in this whole progressive world where there's not really, I don't want to say a future, but kind of done that for a lot of years. I know the ins and outs. I know the goods and the bad.
Yep.
My favorite bands of all time are just kind of what I described. Yes, you can have huge hooks, but you guys can play underneath it and get cute and kind of crazy and a little progressive. And especially the second record is a little more, it's a little heavier. There are times where 8 bars go by, there's no singing and there's no lead. It's just establishing a pulse, which, some people frown. It's like, well, what are we doing? Let's get to the chorus. Let's get to the chorus. There's plenty of that. And that's the one thing I told Ray with A through Z. I said, dude, do whatever you want. It's actually, everybody in the band, this was my philosophy. Do whatever you want. Be overly creative, but we got to have the gigantic hook. It's got to be a hook. So when we put the music together, verse, chorus, bridge, whatever, we purposely kept that in mind. And then with Ray on that, especially that first record, he really took that to heart. And it's, I'm kind of picturing this as an 80s kind of style band, and that philosophy ran through everything else. The album cover, I had Hugh Syme do it. Yes, it cost me a fortune out of my pocket. But I didn't want to just, hey, tell my daughter to do the album cover, or I didn't want to do something really cheap. We went full out, because if people are going to be buying it, it's that old school kind of thing. If not, I could just do everything digitally, go to my website, and be done. But I'm not into that. And I know there's a lot of people that aren't into that. So, and then it even came down to the videos. It's like, okay, well, you know, we have a small budget and that's cool, but you know, we're going to do a video for every song come hell or high water. And I was lucky enough to find a guy who edits really cheap and is really good. And we did a song for every we did a video for every song.
I watched 3 or 4 of them, and they were fun to watch. Is that your son singing on "Runaway"? Who is that kid?
No, that's not my kid.
Ryan Todd, right? Yeah. So
exactly.
Ryan Todd is the guy that put me in touch with Mark to make this interview happen.
The kid is your friend? The kid is Ryan Todd?
It's Ryan Todd's the adult, and both of his kids are in it. He just became a fan friend. And as you guys all know in bands, there's certain people that are like, just get closer to you because they're just more on your level, whatever, you know, and you know they're not just overly fanboying you, and there's actually something there. We're talking about sports or whatever, okay. And he came to me one day. Well, we had that idea of, okay, we're going to do the video for Runaway. Let's get people to send in clips. Basically, that translates to, we don't have a budget, so we need some help. Okay, people sending your free stuff. Turn the camera, turn your phone side. Anyways, Ryan sent in a lot of that stuff. You know, that's him and, you know, with this kid. And there's all these little subtle things, you know, you see the Fates Warning stuff. So when that was done, he came to me and said, hey, man, he goes, do you mind if I take a shot at doing a video for the last song, which is Sometimes? And I thought, hey, go to it. I mean, that's great, you know, and that's where that video came from.
Wow. Yeah.
And as much as that little kid that you see in the one video, there's that other kid that's like 6'5". He's like 13 years old. The football scene.
Yeah.
Ryan is the short dude. I thought Ryan was the tall guy, you know, and I'm thinking, and then I said, oh, did he really go and play at Texas? And he goes, Mark, he's 13. I go, oh my gosh, you got your hands full with that. But no, he's a great guy. And again, it was just important to get video content out there. I mean, obviously I come from the period back where you dump your record on the label and you say, hey, knock yourselves out, tell us what we can do. Now it's a whole different ballgame. And this is kind of the first thing I've done in this new generation where, you know, we shot I think I shot myself like 30 videos that are 2-3 minutes long of just me talking about like, hey, here in the studio, how I brought Philip Bynum in, what's your favorite gig, blah, blah. You know, it's all about that content and keeping it roll. So when I started this, my whole idea was, you know, album, videos, touring, interviews, and do the cycle. And I told everybody that this is not a project, okay? My kids are now 17. You know, I always felt guilty about going on the road, you know, when they were growing up. I have twins. And now that they're 17, it's like, it's time to go, you know? And so that was the whole idea, was we're going to do this, you know, old school kind of thing, you know? The videos are really well done. I encourage our listeners and viewers to check them out. I saw them on metalblade.com. I don't know if you can find them elsewhere, but I saw them on metalblade.com. Of course, your album is on Metal Blade Records. And as you say, there's a video for every song, and they're really well done. And my hat's off to Ryan Todd, not only for putting me in touch with you, but he's obviously a creative videographer. And when he reached out to me, he knew that Jason and I were based in Texas, so he knew we would appreciate the Texas references in the one video. And he's right. I mean, we saw Whataburger, we saw the UT campus, and I commented that he was wearing some great shirts. I didn't know that was him at the time. I was like, whoever that guy is in the video's got some great shirts. There was a Lizzie Borden and a Riot and a there's all kinds of subtle things going on. The other thing that he did that people don't know, and I'm not even sure if Ray picked up on it. There's that scene where on those reddish clay steps going up to it's a school. That supposedly is where Ray went to school.
Yeah.
High school, you know?
I saw that in one of the behind the scenes clips. I think he
talked about that.
Yeah.
No, he was very cool. It didn't save us because we would have figured it out. But, you know, after 10 videos, you kind of run out of ideas. Like, okay, what the hell are we going to do here? You know, what are we going to do? And when he came in, he said that. I go, oh man, go for it. You know,
you mentioned the album. You mentioned the album cover, and I love the album cover.
Yeah, it came out awesome. Amazing.
And then I thought I read somewhere in your bio or your background info or whatever, and I never caught this, but symbolically, the album cover represents A through Z because it's an apple being eaten by a zebra, and the artwork is so great. I mean, it's super colorful, super cool, very original. And you said Hugh Syme did that. And for
Yeah.
those who don't know, Hugh is responsible for a lot of your favorite Rush album covers.
As well as like the last 17 Dream Theater, all those Megadeth records. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on.